How about this? A balmy 21 degrees on the campus of UMBC in Baltimore, Maryland. It's America East Conference basketball on ESPN3. Today, it's the Maine Black Bears against the UMBC Retrievers. And hi again, everybody. Gary Stein, along with my broadcast partner, John Feinstein, and we'll hear from Paul Mittermeier in a moment. The Maine Black Bears are struggling. They've lost 6 in a row. They're 4-12 on the year. Meanwhile, UMBC at 10-4. It's the program's best 14-game start in Division I history. And John, in the opener against Binghamton, it was balanced scoring for UMBC, led by Jarris Lyles.
It really was. And the thing that Ryan Odom liked best about Jarris Lyles' game on Thursday night was he took what the defense gave him. When he saw an opening, for example, right here, no help as he goes to the basket, he kept the ball. Every shot he took was an open shot. Nothing was forced all night, and he can make plays like that going to the basket, as we well know. And when he plays like that, he opens things up for everybody else on the team.
The Maine Black Bears opened with a 90-77 loss against Vermont in the opener, but Wes Myers pumped in 30 for the Black Bears.
And that's the reason why the game was tied with 5 minutes left, because Wes Myers played so well against the team that's favored to win the conference. He's going to have a huge game here today for Maine to hang in, because they're down to 5 scholarship players.
Starting lineup for Maine, Aaron Calixte, one of those scholarship players who is not in the lineup, is now redshirted for the year. Danny Evans steps in for him.
And he's a redshirt freshman, and he's going to have to do a good job against the pressure defense that the Retrievers will throw at him, whether they're in zone or man-to-man. They're going to attack shooters for Maine.
For UMBC, Nolan Garrity in the middle is starting to assert some dominance.
Well, his second half on Thursday night was tremendously important. He only had 2 points at halftime, and those first 2 possessions right there that we're seeing right now, when they went to him, started the Retrievers towards what became a one-sided basketball game.
Bob Walsh for Maine in his 3rd season heads up the Black Bears.
And great success at Rhode Island College, took on the challenge of Maine, a team that has never once been to postseason. That's a challenging job.
And Ryan Odom for UMBC is trying to get the Retrievers to the postseason.
Well, he's off to a great start, 10-4, 1-0 in conference. His message to the players this morning was, we are not close to where we should be if we want to be satisfied at the end of the season.
This afternoon's officials, the team headed up by Paul Faya, Lionel Butler, and Jeff Nichols. The Black Bears and the Retrievers from the rack. We're just about ready to get this one underway. Nolan Garrity for UMBC and Vincent Easy for the Black Bears. It'll be Maine ball in the road blue, UMBC in the home white. And Maine will get us started off today. The Black Bears 4-12 on the year. And like we said, riding the heels of a 6-game losing streak. They only have 9 players in uniform here this afternoon. Andrew Fleming, one of their best, 3-time America East Conference Rookie of the Week, did not make the trip because of an injury and an illness.
Yeah, he has a high ankle sprain. They're hoping, Bob Walsh is hoping to get him back in the next week. As you said, they are really thin here today. Even in warm-ups, Marko Perovic normally would be starting, had back spasms. And he's standing at the end of the bench, and who knows if he'll be able to play at all.
Foul inside on, or out of bounds, I should say, off Maine. That was Ryan Bernstein, UMBC basketball, in the hands of Lyles, who leads the America East Conference in scoring at 21.6. Gets a screen from Garrity. They swing it around far side. Now inside for Garrity. Gets inside on Easy and loses the basketball. It'll belong to Maine.
Well, they doubled Garrity the minute he touched the ball. Obviously, Bob Walsh looked at the film of the game on Thursday and saw how important Garrity was opening up the offense for the Retrievers in the second half.
Boy, Bob Walsh, when he came over to tell us about Perovic earlier, looked like a man like, what else can happen to my basketball team?
I asked him if he was in good shape, and he said, I ran 4 miles this morning. I said, well, that proves 2 things. You're in good shape, and you're not very bright.
No.
It's up to 21 degrees.
Right, and snow on the ground.
And Walsh was saying before the game, they've been down here 3 times to play since he got here, and it snowed every time.
Well, welcome. Welcome to your weather.
He said there's no snow in Bangor right now.
That's the irony of it all. KJ Mara,
nice play,
fantastic play off the glass, and the junior college transfer gives UMBC the lead.
And another thing Bob Walsh told me was that they thought about recruiting Mora. That's not a good foul in the backcourt at all by Mora. But here's Mora on this basket here, driving left, shooting right. Tough shot there, and banks it in. Bob Walsh told me they looked at more on film. They liked what they saw, but eventually backed off because even though he's listed 5'8", he's really only 5'6". And he said, credit Ryan for taking a chance on a guy so little because it's worked out well for him.
Well, he was a junior college All-American last year, and he was the Florida State Player of the Year. And that's a great play inside for Wes Myers. And the Retrievers and Black Bears are tied at 2.
And Myers, who is a transfer from Niagara, he's a scorer, inside, outside.
Averaging just under 15 per game off the bench, but he gets the start here this afternoon. Mara with a floater in the lane, and he gets it, gets the roll off the glass and in. It's 4-2 UMBC.
KJ Moore off to a good start. UMBC showing pressure again, knowing how thin this Maine team is. Might as well make them work.
Same kind of pressure they showed against Binghamton early last time, and Mara had 2 or 3 steals early on in that game.
Well, actually, UMBC had 5 steals in the first 3 minutes.
Now up top here's Myers working out with Sherburne.
That was either a block or a walk, and Jeff Nichols has it as a walk. I started to say Hank Nichols because he is the son of the Hall of Fame referee, Hank Nichols. Here you see. Did he travel first or get fouled first?
Well, the officials are saying he got fouled first.
Officials, so they're right. That's all that matters, what they think.
That's right. First foul on Joe Sherburne. That's the second on UMBC here early. Maine with no fouls in the game. Floater put up in the corner by Austin Howard.
Stays there. Good call. 3 officials today, as you mentioned, are Jeff Nichols, Paul Faya, and Lionel Burke, who had that call. Butler, excuse me.
Bernstein will inbounds for the Black Bears.
Bernstein's a Bronx kid, and Bob Walsh is from the Bronx. No coincidence that he ends up here.
Low block now for Easy, who uses the left side of the rim and in.
And how many times in his career do you think people have said he made that look easy?
Well, chalk up another one.
Yeah, there's one more.
Averaging 4.1 per game. Lyles on a handoff from Garrity. Nice ball movement. Mara gets the three-pointer and is fouled in the act.
I'd say Mora's off to a pretty good start.
I'd say Mora is UMBC right now.
Well, he's averaging 8.4 and he's got 7. Good look by Lyles in the corner. Mora wide open. Bernstein gets there just a little late, just in time to commit the foul.
You know what's interesting, John? Lost in the hoopla of Joe Sherburne's three-point success. Free throw is good for Mora. Mora is not too shabby either. He's 18 for 39. He's about 46%.
And the good thing is he never forces the threes. He shoots them open.
And Mara has all 8 for UMBC early on. The Retrievers lead it by 4. Back 3 minutes into the game. Here's Evans driving on Sherburne. Swinging around far side. Bernstein for 3. Evans keeps it alive for the Black Bears.
Nice job by Moore getting to the shooter there. Ryan Odom said that was one of their emphases. Defend on the catch so they don't have open shots.
It's interesting, Maine, and here's a nice hoop along the baseline for Myers.
And that's what I meant about Myers. He can score from almost anywhere on the court.
The Black Bears lead the America East Conference in three-point field goal attempts. They're also third in offensive rebounds. And you made a good point as Darley takes it to the hole, can't finish. Rebound Evans. The point being that a lot of long rebounds happen from downtown, and that's why Maine is up there in the ORP category.
And that was another emphasis for Ryan Odom to be aware of those long rebounds.
Ryan Bernstein for 3.
A lefty from New York. You know I got to like him.
Bernstein gives the Black Bears the lead, and Will Darley gets it right back for UMBC.
And this is going to be a problem for Maine because Sherburne and Darley can both make threes, and they're going to be shooting over guys who are smaller than them all day long.
Bernstein's 11th three-pointer of the year, and for Darley, that's number 26. And those are the first points scored for UMBC by someone other than KJ Mora. Myers gets double teamed. Here's Howard inside for Easy.
Nice rebound by Garrity there. Didn't have position, but got his hand on it.
To Sherburne, Lyles.
That was the Lyles that Ryan Odom doesn't like to see because he went in 1 on 4.
No question he forced it there, but right now for UMBC, it's pretty much all KJ Mora. KJ Mora from inside and KJ Mora from outside. Retrievers by 2. the rack on the campus of UMBC. The Retrievers by 2, Gary Stein and John Feinstein. The third member of our crew is Paul Mittermeier, who's standing by the UMBC bench. Paul?
Thanks, Gary. We know the success of the conference against non-conference foes was discussed on Thursday. If opening night is any indication, the American East should be wide open this year. The bottom half of the conference was very successful. And, Stony Brook lost a lot to graduation, but they had enough to upset New Hampshire on the road. Also, Albany fell to UMass Lowell, and this Maine team took Vermont to one possession game with 2 minutes to play. It is going to be fun to watch this year in the American East.
Oh, there's no doubt about that.
Yeah, Paul, it's funny. I was talking to several people last week, and the point was that there is no dominant team. Vermont's still the favorite, I think, but there's nobody as good as Stony Brook was last year, and there's nobody bad. Every game is going to be tough.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And you look at the play, and I mean, Vermont is always going to be solid, but this Retriever team is surprising a lot of people, and it's just going to be fun to watch night after night.
The Retrievers have a big game at Vermont coming up later this week on Friday night. We'll tell you about that a little bit more later on. Jordan Grant has checked into the lineup for UMBC, and Lyles turns it over for the Retrievers.
Trying to get it to Garrity in the post, and he was being fronted, and basically just threw it right to him.
Jordan Grant has turned out to be a very important member of this team off the bench. Nice take to the hole by Myers. And John, you were so right. He scores from everywhere.
We were talking about Jordan Grant. He had an excellent game on Thursday night.
Grant was 7 points, 9 rebounds, and 5 assists off the bench in that game. Darley up top now for Lyles. 3-point floater, no good. Long rebound, keeps it alive. Here's Darley now, left wing. 2 chances, nothing though for UMBC.
Even though Darley didn't finish with that 3-point shot, I like what Lyles did. Oftentimes a scorer, when he gets a rebound like that, his instinct is to throw it right back up. He saw Darley open and found it.
Howard misses from 3 baseline. Lyles finishes at the rim, and the Retrievers back in the lead.
And that's Lyles at his best, when he just goes straight to the basket in transition and beats the defense down. And there's another steal by Mora.
Mora will take it in, and the Retrievers now lead by 4. Mora in double digits with 10.
Again, Bob Walsh was talking about how difficult he is because he's so low to the ground that he will get under you and make a steal just like he did there.
Easy on the low block with Garrity, some help from Lyles. And now an ill-advised bounce pass intended for Myers is stolen away.
That was hard for Easy. Sorry, I couldn't resist.
I think that's happened before.
And that was a zig when they thought he was going to zag. Darley looking for Lyles. Lyles was heading into the corner, and the pass went behind him. Looked a little bit like Connor Cook yesterday.
Yeah. Here's Mora.
Mora, as I said, look, he went underneath on that steal.
And he does that.
By the way, have you ever seen a worse day of NFL postseason games than yesterday?
No,
brutal.
that was bad.
Brutal. Glad I was at the Palestra.
Yeah, cool. Oh, and we'll talk about that. The shrine of college basketball.
It is. It's the cathedral.
Yeah, I've called games from there. What a fantastic place. Myers with a leaner.
He is hard to guard, isn't he?
Arkel Lamar checks in for UMBC. He had the big 3-pointer, John, against Binghamton that really kind of broke the momentum that the Bearcats had in the first half.
First points of the game on Thursday night, and they were key.
Grant picks up the foul here. That's number 1 on Jordan.
Sometimes it's not how many, it's when.
Correct. The free throw by Myers is good. The Retrievers have committed 3 team fouls with 13 minutes left to go. Substitution, Bernstein checks back in, and Easy sits down. So they're basically with 5 guards, for lack of a better here.
Yeah, their biggest player in uniform today is 6'7", and everybody else is 6'4" and under.
Marko Perovic, who goes 6'7", came down with back spasms in the pregame warm-up, and he is probably not available for Bob Walsh today.
He was standing at the end of the bench when the game started as if he was hoping something would loosen up, but I don't see him standing there anymore.
Having said all that, through the first 7 minutes,
they're hanging right in.
Absolutely.
Which is what, as you mentioned, they did against Paul mentioned they did against Vermont on Thursday night. It was a tie game with 5 minutes to go, and a 1-possession game with a couple minutes to go. They ended up losing by 13. Vermont made all their free throws down the stretch.
Rodney Elliott checks in for UMBC, the American East Conference Rookie of the Year a couple seasons ago, and a steal by Rodney Elliott into the hands of Lamar.
Open again. You know what? He didn't catch that cleanly. and he was kind of leaning into the shot.
Yeah, and we saw the release wasn't KJ Mara.
Right. He didn't have both his feet planted.
The foul is on Arkel Lamar. That's his first, fourth on the team.
More frustrated because he knows that the catch was the problem.
Black Bears hanging around, shooting 5 of 11 from the field at 45%. Retrievers are at 60%, 6 of 10. Myers all the way to the hoop, nothing there. Sherburne, Retrievers in transition. Lamar for 3. Retrievers now just 2 of 6 from downtown.
And they're settling for threes a little bit, which has been a concern for Ryan Odom. He prefers when they work inside-outside.
Jaquan McKinnon, who was checked in with a lefty 3. Lamar the rebound and a steal by Myers, and floats one over Lamar. We're tied at 15.
And that was just a mental error by Lamar, turning. Retrievers always like to push the ball. The problem is he pushed it to the wrong team.
There's a spot for Jordan Grant. McKinnon the rebound for the Black Bears.
Again, another quick 3. You need to run when a shot isn't there in transition. You need to run your offense and get a little outside.
Up top for Evans. Corner for Myers, picked up by Lamar. Wes Myers, 14.8 points per game, has 16 3-pointers in the year. Now Bernstein drives, and Grant, I believe, commits the block.
Yeah.
We'll see on that foul in a moment. But right now, the depleted Maine Black Bears are sticking right in with UMBC. Good defense here by Wes Myers. UMBC Scholar Athlete, brought to you by Court Furniture. Court takes the hassle out of furnishing your new residence so you can relax and watch the America East on ESPN3. And today, the 3-pillar student athlete is Malcolm Brent. 3.4 GPA, another financial economics major, John.
Well, I hope we have that GPA correct.
I think we do.
It's very impressive. But Paul Sherburne, Joe Sherburne's dad, is here today, and he came down, said some very nice things to you and I about the broadcast, but pointed out that during one of our games in December, we had Joe up there with a 3.75 GPA, and apparently that was a mistake made because a professor had lost one of his papers. Joe got it corrected, and Paul wanted us to know that Joe is a straight 4.0 GPA guy. And I told him, this is one of the reasons I don't like him. He's a 4.0 student. He shoots 57% from 3. He's a terrific young man, and he was an Eagle Scout.
Can't get much better than that.
I'm not speaking to him.
Malcolm Brent,
but he had a 4.0 GPA.
Malcolm Brent, meanwhile, had a great freshman campaign with 49 3-pointers and is a force for UMBC off the bench.
Well, he played really well in the Towson game off the bench.
And Citadel as well.
Yep, Citadel too.
Big threes.
Yep.
Maine in a tie game with UMBC. Steal by Jairus Lyles. Pass was intended for Myers, and Lyles converts for UMBC.
And, you know, the problem there was not so much the pass as the catch. Myers didn't move to the ball at all. And he does, Bob Walsh said, one of the reasons he hasn't been starting until today, when they ran out of guys, basically, is because he does tend to float a little bit, particularly on the defensive end of the floor. And like every coach, Bob Walsh wants a lot of focus on defense.
Speaking of defense, let's take a look at Jairus.
And there he is stepping in. As I said, Myers didn't move to the ball. Once he's off one-on-one, forget it.
Bernstein trying to take on Mora. Outside now for Howard, who's checked back into the game. Black Bears shooting 40% from the field. A little more now after the 2-pointer from the corner.
That's an example of not defending on the catch. That's an example of a dunk.
Yeah, that's a pretty good example.
That's my analysis of that.
Yeah, very, very well done, John.
Thank you.
Dennis Ashley
keen insight.
Dennis Ashley scored for Maine, and then Arkel Lamar brings the house down for UMBC. Retrievers by 1. Miles quick hands out of bounds off the coach.
I'm not sure Ryan even noticed the ball hitting him because he was so intent on getting his team's attention defensively.
Big time for UMBC. Here's Ashley again now inside the lane.
Nice pass.
Excellent. Couldn't finish, though, at the rim is Howard, but he'll go to the line for Maine.
Got it. Pretty pass here. Knowing where his trailer was, cutting to the basket. That's just smart basketball.
We've mentioned Ryan Odom coached at Division II Lenore-Rhine last year. Austin Howard at the line now for Maine is a Division II transfer. Played at Parkland College.
And last year, of course, Bob Walsh was a Division III coach at Rhode Island College, and his worst record in 8 years was his first year when he was 19-10. That was his worst record. Wow. And they got to the Elite Eight of the D3 championship, and he's actually in the Rhode Island Hall of Fame, Collegiate Hall of Fame. And I said to him, you had a nice thing going at Rhode Island. Why do you take a job at a school that has never been to postseason?
Ever.
And he said, I like the challenge. I like the fact that we had an AD who's a basketball guy. Nice move there by Garrity. And I really believe we can make it happen. But when you get 6 players injured and 4 players transfer in a period of less than 10 months, it's tough to make anything happen.
Garrity's first 2 for UMBC give the Retrievers the 2-point lead. Here's Easy, who was checked back into the game, and that's a nice one over Garrity. We're tied. It's an Easy now with 4. He's 2 of 3 from the field. Inside Sherburne, finding Garrity in a nice strip underneath by Myers.
Myers playing some defense there.
Danny Evans for 3. Rebound Nolan. AJ in transition, leaves it for Elliott. Rodney using his body, and a foul called on Maine.
Nice drive there by Rodney Elliott, getting back into game shape after missing 4 games. Here you see, just again, gets pushed by, not by the guy who was guarding him, but by the trailer.
Foul called on Easy, that's number 1. Black Bears have committed 2.
Only 2 fouls in 11 minutes, and that's good news for Bob Walsh, because again, he's working with virtually no bench. He's got to keep his starters out there most of the day. He's got 4 walk-ons.
First free throw by Rodney is good. He had 21 last year against Maine. Second one is also good. Rodney missed 8 games this year due to either injury or suspension. He could be a key factor for UMBC during America East Conference.
He can really give them a boost off the bench, because we know he can score. He's a junior. He's got 2 years of experience. And he comes from pretty good basketball stock.
Not too shabby. Good corner by Ashley. Air ball.
Good defense there by Mora, getting to the shooter.
Mora again.
He transitions, if that's a word, quickly, doesn't he?
Rodney baseline. Still got 15 to shoot.
And he got fouled.
You know, that's interesting, John. That took 15 seconds. There must have been 12 passes in those 15 seconds.
Yeah, good ball movement there, finding a guy open underneath. Leads to the foul under the basket, only the 3rd for Maine, so UMBC will inbound. Both coaches, interestingly, talked in terms of talking about keys to the game, mentioned transition defense. And Ryan Odom said, you know, I think we've done a pretty good job convincing the guys to sprint in offensive transition. We've got to do better getting them to sprint back in defensive transition. There were a bunch of times Thursday night when he wasn't happy with the way they stopped the basketball. Remember, we talked about it during the game.
That last foul on Danny Evans, his first, 3rd on the team. With the new possession here. Sherburne, nice feed inside for Garrity, who puts it in.
That's the 2nd time in the last couple possessions where Sherburne has used his shot fake to get in the lane and then find Garrity. He didn't finish the first time. That time he did.
Sherburne, his first assist. Garrity now with 4 points. The Bears have opened up a 4-point lead here on the Black Bears.
Sherburne is so unselfish. You almost wish he'd be a little more selfish, given how good a shooter he is. There's a good shot.
Baseline jumper by Myers now with 12. He leads the game. So Wes Myers in a starting role because Aaron Kalixty now out for the year. And Jarris Lyles answers for UMBC. He's got 6. And what's this here?
Somebody hurt.
Oh, timeout on the floor. We'll take one too. 7:37 left to go in the half. The Retrievers and the Black Bears from snowy Baltimore. UMBC by 4. 7:37 left, and John, a big reason why they're in it is because of Wes Myers.
He's the biggest reason why they're in it. And we talked in the pregame about the fact that there's a difference between a shooter and a scorer. Wes Myers is a scorer. There he is playing defense, which he doesn't do all that well most of the time, but that leads to a layup. He can score on the dribble getting to the basket. He can score from 3. He can score from the mid-range. Not that many college players score from mid-range these days.
12 points in 12 minutes as a starter today. And an interesting fact about Wes Myers, you talked about his New York background, went to Boys and Girls High School. 3 city championships, 1 state championship as a high schooler.
Yeah, and a winner, which is what you look for as a coach, scorer and a winner. And the most important person in my life who went to Boys and Girls High School, you won't know, my dad.
I was going to say your dad.
When it was Boys High School. In a long, long time ago.
That's interesting.
Yeah. It used to be Boys High School.
Maine with the basketball trailing by 4. Now the inbounder here is Marko Perovic, who was checked into the game for the first time this afternoon. He was supposed to start.
Well, maybe his spasms loosened up, which would be good news for Maine.
Bob Walsh told us of his back spasms in pregame warm-up, so let's see what he can give Maine this afternoon. Lyles on the rebound from the miss from Ashley. Up ahead for Max Curran. A great catch for Max. Keeps it alive. And Lyles converts for UMBC.
And as you said, the catch by Curran was key to that, keeping the ball alive and then getting it to Lyles, who makes the 3.
Curran, a good-looking freshman, 6'9", 190 out of Hooksett, New Hampshire.
In 2 years, when he's 6'9", 215, he's going to be a real threat.
Howard with the drive, give off to Ashley in the corner. That one is no good. Air ball. Rivers the other way. Sherburne, number 3 in the country in three-point shooting.
Pass that Sherburne just threw would have gotten you benched 25 years ago, but now it's a good ball reversal.
Turnover here for the Retrievers. Baseline jumper by Bernstein is no good. Sherburne crashes the boards along with Curran.
Maine one and done a lot, which isn't that surprising given their lack of size.
Also, Maine not shooting the 3 as much today as they usually do.
Well, Myers has been able to get to the basket a few times.
There's Curran inside.
Good walk, good call.
And Perovic was in on the defense there. So the Retrievers have opened up a 7-point lead now on Maine.
I have to say, Perovic looked okay running the floor there the last couple possessions. Anybody who's ever had back spasms, and I'm on that list, I mean, it could put you on the floor, and you can be in real pain, but you can also recover sometimes fairly quickly.
Perovic, a former member of the Canadian national junior team back in the 12-13 campaign. Perovic has it taken away by the pesky K.J. Mora.
Orono's only about 100 miles from the Canadian border.
This is true. Rodney for 3. Long rebound comes down to Myers.
I don't think Brian Odom minded that shot, but I'm sure the last couple times out he's talked to his players about recognizing the difference between an easy transition look and a out of the half-court offense too soon look.
McKinnon inside for Perovic. Curran a little late getting there, commits the foul.
Well, and looked like Curran got him on the wrist, and he's trying to shake it off. You see Perovic goes up, and didn't get him on the wrist, but he's shaking that right wrist.
Marko Perovic, a 7-point per game scorer. 13-9 against UMBC back in the 14 season.
It's funny how you can recover from your hand hurting with a chance to shoot a free throw very quickly.
Yep, they are free. A native of Bolton, Ontario. Perovic with 16 against Columbia. No, make that 13 actually. And both free throws are good. So Perovic sits down and Easy checks back in for the Black Bears.
He doesn't look great going to the bench, but you just don't know. Although he's walking right to the end of the bench and heading for the locker room. So the back tightened up on him again. He's holding his back as he walks toward the locker room. That's not a good thing.
Retrievers by 5. Nice feed inside for Curran. Tries to get his own rebound, and it's out of bounds off of Maine.
Well, like I said, when he gets a little more weight on him and he makes that catch, he'll go straight up with the ball. He'll score and he'll get fouled.
Nice look by KJ on that. Sherburne, quick release. First three-pointer of the night for Joe Sherburne.
What a shock to see Joe Sherburne make a 3.
That's his first shot.
First shot. And again, that's what I was talking about earlier about Brian Odom probably would like him to be a little less unselfish.
3 points, 3 rebounds, and assist in 13 minutes for Joe Sherburne.
Good defense there.
Yep, Lyles on Evans, out of bounds off UMBC. You know,
Go ahead.
as we look at Joe Sherber, third in the country in three-point field goal percentage, and we had a chance to talk to his dad, and they're going to watch the Green Bay Packers this afternoon.
Of course they are.
Big Packer fans from Whitefish Bay, Wisconsin.
You and I are going to watch the Green Bay Packers, and we're not Green Bay Packers fans.
We are. We're going to watch Eli Manning and the Giants as well.
I'm a Jets fan, and as is Bob Walsh, and when we agreed that there's few things in life more painful than being a lifelong Jets fan.
Off the top of my head, John, I can't think of any.
You could be an Islanders fan.
That's true. Lyles for three and a timeout, Maine.
Maine needs this timeout because the lead has jumped to 11 after Maine hung in there for most of the first 13, 14 minutes. They've started to miss some shots. They've been one and done a lot, and better offense here being run by the Patriots. Lyles, who always brings rain with his shots, but he was open. And when Lyles shoots open shots and doesn't force things, he is a remarkably effective player. And the last 2 threes he's taken have been open, not forced.
Lyles now with a game-high 12 for UMBC. He's 5 for 6 from the field. He's got 6 rebounds in 15 minutes.
Well, he is a rebounding machine as a guard. I mean, that Citadel game, which, of course, was double overtime, I think he had 32 and 20.
Correct.
Those numbers, even in a double overtime game, those numbers are ridiculous.
And Jairus Lyles is the top rebounding guard in the conference. He's number 6 overall. He leads the Retrievers at 6.8 rebounds per game. Of course, he's the leading scorer in the America East Conference. The transfer from VCU who prepped at DeMatha. That's a pretty good pedigree.
Not bad at all. I mean, the 2 coaches he played for there, Mike Jones and Shaka Smart, are both pretty good coaches.
Retrievers have built the lead up to double digits now by 11 down the stretch here in the first half.
In fact, Markelle Fultz, who was a senior at DeMatha last year, was in Washington. Some people think he might be the first pick in the NBA draft.
That's right. Garvey Meldman, a junior guard from Greenbush, Maine, has checked into the game for the Black Bears. Here's Jairus Lyles again. A steal for Jairus.
It's a good block. Wow. It was on the way up.
Wes Myers.
Maybe that's why Bob Walsh gets frustrated with him when he doesn't play defense, because clearly he can. Watch. Perfect timing here. Ball on the way up. Great block. Good call.
Nice hang time for Wes Myers.
He gets up. He got up. Because it's not like Jairus Lyles can't jump.
Inside for Darley. Quick turn.
Rare miss from Darley from that close to the basket.
Curran tries to keep it alive, but Howard comes away with it for Maine. There's Myers on a trip inside the lane. Malcolm Brent, our 3-pillar student athlete of the game, will get called on the foul. Brent checking in for Ryan Odom at UMBC. As we take it a break, let's watch the acrobatics from Wes Myers. With less than 4 minutes to play, let's go down to the UMBC sideline with Paul Mittermeier. Paul?
Well, guys, it's interesting because, Ryan, you guys talked about it. Ryan Odom talked about it with his team as well. We saw the Retrievers struggling offensively. Then the focus on the interior and getting the ball the inside and getting easy buckets. We saw Nolan Garrity get an easy bucket. We saw a dunk as well by Arkel Lamar. And then that opens up the outside where you dump the ball inside. That opens up the three-point shooters. I think that's what you've seen offensively for UMBC here as we come down the stretch in this first half.
Yeah, Paul, you're exactly right, because I just knowing Ryan Odom, I knew he wasn't happy when his team was settling for threes, missing a bunch of them, and that he would emphasize that inside-outside aspect of the game, and clearly it's helped.
Yeah, he reminded them, look, guys, you guys are bigger than them at almost every position. Take advantage of that and use that to your advantage inside, and that's what they've done.
And the numbers, guys, speak to that. Paul, you were mentioning Retrievers now 14 for 24 from the field, 58%. They're 5 of 11 from 3, 46%.
And that's because most of those threes have been open because they have been inside-outside. The misses have come when they've come down in transition and forced a quick one.
Free throw for Maine, good by Wes Myers. Myers now with 13 for the game.
It's a good thing he made the bus.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, Bob Walsh was telling me 2 years ago when they played here, that it was in the midst of a big snowstorm, as it always has been, some kind of snow, and their plane couldn't get out, and they were told the earliest they would get out was Wednesday. It was a Saturday game, so they got on a bus on Sunday morning, and 14 hours later, they were home in Orono. Had to change buses at a mall in Boston because it was as far north as the bus company was allowed to go from here in Baltimore.
You know what, John? That's even worse than Beltway traffic.
Close. Close. Competitive anyway.
Brent for 3. He'll pop. Rebound Sherburne.
Always tough for a righty shooter going left.
A couple of numbers for you. Retrievers with 9 assists on 14 baskets.
Lyles forced that one.
Kept alive by Sherburne. Wheels a pass corner for Brent. There's a 3 ball. How about Darley keeping it alive?
4 cracks at it, they couldn't score. But again, that shows just how tough it is for Maine because of the size difference.
At times in this game, the Black Bears have gone to a 5-guard offense. All their big guys, Perovich with back spasms, Fleming didn't make the trip. One of their big players, is not even here.
Yeah, he's not here. He's out for the season, I believe.
Really, it's Vincent Easy in the guards.
Yeah, that could be a singing group.
How about that?
Yeah, I wonder if Vincent can sing.
Let's grab him before he goes up on the bus. 9-point lead for the Retrievers. Speaking of Easy, he'll be at the line. The foul for UMBC committed by Curran. That's number 2. 9 on the team against the Retrievers, and the Black Bears have only committed 3.
And if there's anything Ryan Odom's going to talk about at halftime, it's going to be those fouls. The Retrievers have had a problem fouling a lot. They're still learning to play defense with their feet and not their hands.
Laura checks in for Brent, and Garrity checks in for Curran. Easy at the line for the second of 2. Goodson, a 6'8", 218-pounder from Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, home of the Lehigh Engineers. Actually, they're now the Mountain Hawks.
The Mountain Hawks,
right,
because they didn't want people to think the school was just for engineers. It is. There's a mountain right in. There are 2 campuses at Lehigh, and you've got to drive across a mountain to get from one to the other.
We visited. My daughter eventually went to University of Maryland, but we visited Lehigh and loved it.
Terrific school.
Yep.
Good basketball program these days.
Yes, indeed it is. Laura wheels one over to Lyles. Now Sherburne assessing his options. Little turnaround. Joe Sherburne, perfect today.
That's the shot that Ryan Odom wants to see Joe Sherburne take more often. He had a size advantage on his defender and took his time. And he's a pretty good shooter, in case you hadn't noticed.
Not too bad. Retrievers now opening it up as Maine has not hit a bucket in 5 minutes.
And this is what Bob Walsh was worried about, because UMBC has so many different weapons, so many different guys who can score, and frankly, Maine is limited right now.
Pass intended for Myers inside, goes out of bounds. A turnover. Maine now in the last 5 minutes, 57 seconds, no field goals. Meanwhile, though, the Retrievers are only 1 for their last 7.
Well, 4 of them were on 1 possession.
That's true. They haven't taken full advantage. Low block now for Gary. Working with Easy. Retrievers right at the buzzer here.
And that's a bailout foul. Fortunate for Darley there. They will not shoot those before he shot the ball.
Foul committed by Danny Evans.
They do get a new 30 seconds.
That'll be the 4th on the team, 2nd on Evans. Evans was a highly decorated high school player in his native England. Born and played in Leeds, England. Lyles tries the left side of the line.
Tough shot there. Tough shot. That's the kind of shot where, okay, you got 4 other teammates out there, Jarris. Thing is about Jarris, he's so confident he thinks he can score under any circumstance. Sometimes that can work against you.
Nice hands by Darley a moment ago to deflect the ball away, but it stays with Maine. Bernstein now calling out the signals. Retrievers lead it by 10. Myers creating. Garrity for UMBC.
It's an open look for Sherburne. He saw a better shot, though. That's the kind of player Sherburne is. He could have taken a 3 there, but He saw Garrity cutting to the basket, nobody in his way, and finds him for the layup.
Garrity now with 6 for the Retrievers.
5-second difference on the shot clock here. If I'm Maine, I just run regular offense and look for a good shot here. Because even running the shot clock down, UMBC is still going to get the ball back if they rebound and miss with 5 or 6 seconds to go.
Well, they only have 5 to shoot. Bernstein looking inside for Easy over Garrity.
That was a nice play. Nice pass by Bernstein.
Final shot here for UMBC. Mora, half court. Oh!
Wide left.
Not too shabby. Retrievers lead it by 10, 40-30 at the break. UMBC shooting an even 50% from the field. KJ Mora, a big reason for that with 10 points. And let's go down to the sideline. Paul Mittermeier standing by. Paul?
Thanks, Gary. Coach, KJ got you off to a fast start offensively.
Yeah, KJ was very good, certainly at the beginning of the game. It's an early game, obviously 12 o'clock. Who's going to be the most ready? Certainly, I thought KJ helped us in that.
After a lull, you guys really done a good job of using your size inside and getting the ball inside for some easy buckets.
Yeah, I thought our guys are certainly looking in there and trying to find guys inside. Nolan's done a pretty good job. He bobbled a couple early, but settled down after that. We dropped one off to Arkell when he was in there. I thought Arkell gave us some pretty good minutes other than the 2 fouls, but it's something we definitely got to look into.
How happy are you with the way you've guarded Myers so far?
Yeah, you can't just guard him with one guy. Certainly Jarris has been on the majority of the time, and I feel like a lot of the shots have been contested, which we want. Guys that can score, you just want to make them as hard as you can. Thanks.
Guys.
Paul, Coach, thank you. 22 points from Lyles and Mora in the backcourt, John, have really kind of been the difference right now for UMBC.
Yeah, and the fact that they aren't letting the other guys get off for Maine besides Myers.
Retrievers by 10 at the half. We'll come back with our halftime show from UMBC right after this. By 10, Paul Mittermeier had a chance to catch up with Bob Walsh at the half. Paul, what's the story?
Coach Walsh talked about his team playing very well in the first half. Said he has to do, obviously, a better job defensively of stopping dribble penetration. And the other thing is, offensively, they can help their defense by not taking so many quick shots on offense. Marko Perovic was on the floor for warm-ups in the second half. He was going through the shooting lines. We'll see if he's able to go here in the second half.
Looks like Bob Walsh is a Flyer fan.
Yeah, that's weird because he's a New York guy. I think that's in the next row behind him.
I think you're right.
We had a little bit of a discussion before the game because he's a Yankee fan. He's a Jets-Yankees fan, which is very unusual.
That's an odd combination.
I am, of course, a Jets-Mets fan, and he told me his brother John is also a Jets-Mets fan and bought him the Legends Club for Christmas as his Christmas present. So I said, I think I like your brother more than I like you.
Yeah, and I don't think he's read it yet, has he?
No, he said I said, I give your brother credit for buying the book, but he hadn't read it yet.
Garrity now with 8 converts on the first possession for UMBC, and the Retrievers lead by 12. But on Paul's report, Bob, and he's actually pretty proud of his team, and he should be in that first half.
There. I mean, they're playing with one hand tied behind their back based on these injuries, and there's Easy again. But a good half.
9 points for Vincent Easy inside the lane. Retrievers by 10.
But interesting, isn't it, that UMBC goes to Garrity on the first possession of the half, just as they did Thursday night.
Here's Sherburne driving right side of the lane off the side of the rim. Now Perovic gets the rebound, so he's back in action for Maine.
I guess they were able to loosen that back up at halftime a little bit. He played about a minute or so in the first half and then came off feeling the spasms again. Jarris Lyles not alert to the fact that Myers was coming up behind him.
Bernstein
a little more alert about somebody coming up behind him. I think I've said this to you before, but Jim Valvano used to say that bothered him more than any play in basketball because he would say to his guy, where do you think the guy you went past went, for a hot dog?
I can see Jim saying that.
Jim said a lot of things that were worth hearing.
He sure did. Definitely went before his time.
That didn't get off.
Nope, did not. Shot clock violation. Perovic hit it, but it was too late.
Took his sweet time, and he didn't have sweet time. He had minimal time.
Marco from Bolton, Ontario. Retrievers still by 10. Mora now in the front court. He's got 10 for the game, 4 of 7 from the field. He played all 20 minutes in the first half.
Understandable. Nice move by
Scoop.
Darley.
Yep, Darley.
Faked
Darley
the
found him.
defender as if he was picking the ball up and scooped it.
That's 5 now for Will. He had 3 at the break. Now Maine attacking the hoop. Perovic picked up by Darley. Easy and Garrity now on the low block.
Easy's the one guy in this team who can score from the low block. That looked like it was Darley over the back. No, they called it the other way, I think.
Take a look at the move from Will Darley.
Watch this nice fake with the ball like he's going back out with it and then goes to the basket. It was on Darley, but once I had it right.
First foul on Darley, first on the team here in the second half. It's a foul on the floor. New possession here for Maine.
Myers and Lyles matched up with each other. Ryan Odom had said that he wants Lyles to get help whenever possible.
Bernstein matched up with Mara. Here's a switch. Perovic, nice touch from about 14.
Well, he didn't get off the 3, but he got that one off. And you're right, on the switch, they were able to find Perovic open.
That's 4 for Marco. Garrity, nice dump underneath.
Remember Nolan Garrity said to us after the game Thursday that it was just in the offense that he got the ball the first 3 possessions. I'm not buying that. I think Ryan Odom comes in at halftime and says, fellas, we got a guy inside who can score. If we get him the ball, let's get him the ball. Block, good call by Jeff Nichols.
Before the basket. So Nolan now in double digits with 10. He's 5 for 5 from the field. Let's take a look at the last one.
Go, nice pass there in the post, gets position. Help comes too late.
Nolan, a 58% shooter from the field this year coming in. That's good for 3rd in the conference.
Well, that's why you want to get him the ball. Looks like a moving screen there. Yep.
That'll be a foul on UMBC.
On Darley. No, it's on Sherburne. By the way, Jeff Nichols made that call a minute ago. His dad, Hank Nichols, Hall of Fame ref. One of the great Valvano stories involves Hank Nichols. Running down the court one night and he heard Valvano calling his name. He turned around and he said, Jimmy, what is it? And he says, Hank, can you give me a technical for what I'm thinking? And Hank Nichols says, no, Jimmy, I can't. He said, well, in that case, I think you stink. And Nichols said it was such a good line, he didn't tee him up.
He didn't tee him up.
I actually cleaned that up a little bit.
Yeah, I'm sure you did, John, no doubt.
That was a deep 3.
And that's a good decision on your part, by the way.
To clean it up? Yes. Yeah, I'd like to keep working.
Myers, and that's a foul on Garrity. Myers continues to attack the basket.
Well, that's what makes him so tough to guard. Because even though he's only listed at 6'2", he's got nice size, he's got a pro body, and there Garrity gets over there, but got him with the body.
And we know he can get up. We saw that block in the first half on Lyles.
Quick leaper.
Good look at Wes Myers. Usually comes off the bench, but now with Aaron Calixte out for the year, Myers will no doubt start.
They have no choice. And Bob Walsh liked him coming off the bench because they lost a game to Central Connecticut State in which he felt the whole team played poorly, but he was especially unhappy with Myers' defense. He said, let's try seeing you come off the bench a little bit. And he played very well off the bench, particularly the other night against Vermont when he had 30.
Myers now with 16 for the game. He's 6 of 6 from the line. He came in an 81% free throw shooter.
I'm surprised it's that low.
Yep, top 10 in the conference, but you're right. He's got a nice touch. Mara inside, Garrity, and he finishes again.
And that's what he does. You said it exactly right. He finishes. I think he's now 6 for 6 in the game.
He is. 12 points, 3 rebounds in 16 minutes for Nolan Garrity.
By the way, that's better than 58%. My math's not good.
No, we're not math majors.
But I can figure that one out. Nice back cut there by Myers, but the defense closed on him very nicely.
Lyles involved in that. Lyles now from Darley. Will tries to keep it alive. Perovic for Maine.
That was nicely done by Perovic, especially for a guy who's been flat on his back most of the afternoon. Gets the rebound, gets the ball in the hands of the guard, and runs the floor and gets the layup. And
a nice catch for Perovic on a difficult pass from Bernstein. Good defense here by Danny Evans, but it's kept alive by Darley for UMBC. Will receives from Sherburne, and the tip, I believe, is good. Yes, by Garrity.
Yeah, it was Garrity. And again, Maine playing very, very aggressively in their zone defense. But the problem is when you play zone, especially when you lack size, it's hard to find a guy to box out.
Garrity had 6 at the break. He's got 8 in the first 6 minutes here in the second half. He's perfect today, 7 of 7.
Ryan Odom must give him great halftime speeches.
How about Garrity on the defense here, keeping his hands active?
Darley made the deflection and runs the floor and gets fouled.
Wow. End-to-end action. Nolan Garrity, the story right now in the second half for UMBC. 14 points, 7 of 7 from the field. Nolan Garrity inside for UMBC. Now to look at the road ahead for UMBC's home broadcast schedule for both men's and women's basketball. And this week it'll be a lot of women's games. I'll be on the call with Paul Mittermeier against Hartford, and then up against Vermont on the 14th, and the big game against Albany, the men, on the 16th, John. And this is going to be a big week here for UMBC men's.
Well, it's really a big 2 weeks when you look at the fact that they're 4 of the next 5 are on the road. Nice to open with 2 home games, but then they go to Hartford, a very good team, Vermont, the league favorite, Albany, a perennial contender here at home, and then back on the road to Mass Lowell and Stony Brook, and then New Hampshire. That is literally a tough road.
Retrievers historically have not played well at Hartford. They've not played well against Vermont. In fact, they haven't beaten Vermont since the championship season back in 08.
Yeah, that's a long dry spell. Now, to be fair, Vermont's been good throughout those years, playing postseason of some kind almost every one of those seasons.
Nolan Garrity in UMBC right now, leading by 12. Garrity with 14 points. He's 7 of 7 from the field. The Retrievers as a team shooting better than 51% in this game. They lead the conference in points per game and in field goal percentage. And Will Darley at the line is a great free throw shooter.
And I could be mistaken. I don't think they've attempted a 3 in this half. And I think that's very consciously done by the players under the instructions of their coach.
You're
we talked about
right.
that at halftime, that if Ryan Odom had an issue, it was they were settling for 3s, and they've done a good job of punching the ball inside in the first 6 minutes here.
The Retrievers were 5 for 14 from 3 in the first half.
Which isn't a terrible percentage, but they didn't want that many of them.
And they have none here in the second in 6 minutes. Free throws by Darley are good, and the answer is from Austin Howard.
Nice again. Garrity running the floor. Great look. Wow. He can run forever, by the way. He's got a little bit of he's like a 6'10" deer.
Nolan, he is. Nolan is the story right now. 16 points on 8 of 8. Mora with the assist on that one. That's
nice
a bad
look
shot
by Mora
Evans.
there, by the way. Give him credit, you're right.
And KJ now with, he's got, 8 assists in this game. That's got to be a career high.
Oops, he just dropped the ball for nobody, but Lyles picked it up.
Here's Lyles on the left wing now. Jordan Grant has checked in for UMBC. Lyles finds his shot. Lyles scores! Jarris with 15, and that's their first 3.
And that's a 3 that Ryan Odom doesn't mind because he was open. And now Maine needs a timeout.
We'll take one, too. We're about 7 minutes into the second half. The question at the half was, could Maine stay with UMBC? Retrievers have added 7 to the lead. Back at you here from the rack. The Retrievers have extended their halftime lead from 10 to 17 with 13:02 to play. KJ Mora now with 8 assists in the game. That is a Division I career high for KJ. The same guy, by the way, who had 20 assists last year, a junior college all-time record for KJ Mora.
Well, he came out scoring early in his game, had the first 8 points for UMBC, and since then has gone back to his more normal duties, let's say, as a point guard. He averages 8.4 points per game, but also he has to set up the other guys, and he's done a very good job of it this afternoon. Don't you love these noon starts? I think all college basketball games should start at noon, except if you want to start at 11.
Correct. I do. We still have the whole day ahead of us.
Exactly. I don't mind getting up and going right to a game. I like it.
Let's head down to the UMBC bench. Paul Mittermeier.
About what the UMBC bench is able to bring. Jordan Grant, last game, 9 rebounds and 5 assists. It's not all about scoring. And if you're Jordan Grant, what do? You come in and you play the 4. He's playing the 4 for this team right now. He's really a guard.
they can afford to play him at the 4 because Maine lacks size. So Ryan Odom going a little bit smaller now. Really only one true big guy in the game at this moment.
Jordan Grant, the junior out of Bowie, Maryland, played in the MIAA, that's the Maryland Interscholastic Athletic Association, with Archbishop Spalding. Nice bucket inside by Easy.
Dipped his shoulder a little bit, but no call. Probably a good no call.
Rodney Elliott has checked in for UMBC, so the Retrievers now with Grant, Mara, Elliott, and Lyles. As Paul mentioned, Grant playing the 4, and Garrity inside. Lyles, little stutter.
Good defense there.
Kept alive by Nolan.
Easy did a very nice job there coming to help on Lyles. 6'8", over 6'4".
Lyles 0 for 2 on that possession. Garrity was 16 for UMBC. Lyles with 15. Again, talent scoring for the Retrievers. Mara, who had a hot first half early with 10. Mara, by the way, now just 2 assists away. Inside, yep.
I don't know if that was a walk so much as it was a dance. It looked like he was trying to do the cha-cha or something in there.
That's a lot of walking.
No, it was good defense.
UMBC leads it by 15 as Marko Perovic gets a word on the main bench. See in control of this one right now. Let's head back to the bench for Paul Mittermeier.
Well, guys, I just wanted to expand on Jordan Grant's role with the 9 rebounds, but also Arkel Lamar. You saw him earlier on taking advantage of UMBC's size inside. The coaches love his ability to play on the perimeter. We saw him step out and hit a big 3-pointer when Binghamton was making a run on Thursday night. But he's the main backup right now to Nolan Garrity, so they need him on the post, and he's done well there, but they love his all-around game. And Ryan Odom, not only getting minutes from his bench, he's getting quality minutes right now from the guys he brings in off the bench.
Arkel Lamar, you talk about the inside game, Paul, 19 rebounds in his last 3 games against JMU, Virginia Tech, and Binghamton University, so he does give them that off the bench.
You know, the thing that's evolved nicely with this UMBC team is there are a lot of guys who can score, which is one reason why Ryan Odom is putting so much emphasis on defense right now.
A little pressure here from the Black Bears in the backcourt. Retrievers handle it.
Awfully tough to press KJ Mora.
Mora now with 10 points and 8 assists in this game. He's 2 away from a double-double.
And he was trying to throw that to Lamar, and it went off his foot.
Turnover UMBC. Meanwhile, Jairus Lyles, 15 and 9 rebounds today.
So he's going to get one of your beloved double-doubles.
Well, from a guard, that's not bad double-double.
No, but you know my theory.
Yeah, well, we can talk about it. And you're not wrong, by the way. 3-pointer off by Howard. Now Elliott the other way.
Wall's trying to give Myers a little bit of a breather. They don't have much offense on the court when he's out.
10 to shoot here for UMBC. Elliott, that's a cross baseline pass. Look at this work along the baseline between Mara and Elliott. Grant with 3 to shoot. They got to do it now. 1 to shoot. I don't think he got it off.
It was close.
He didn't get it off. It is a shot clock violation.
No, I don't think so. I think Jeff Nichols has something else. Maybe you're right, because I didn't see him pat the head.
Right. No, that's true. He didn't pat the head.
It was a foul. It was a foul off the rebound.
Yep.
I thought he got it off. It was close, but I thought he got it off. And the shot did draw iron. Big moment in that Michigan State-Penn State game yesterday. With similar situation. Michigan State takes a shot. It doesn't draw iron. They score on a putback. It was a 30-second violation, and the place went nuts. Penn State fans, you can imagine. Tom Izzo just folded his arms, looked around the building, and said, "This is kind of fun." And there's a walk.
Traveling is the call on McKinnon.
McKinnon looked at Jeff Nichols like, "Did I really travel?" And Jeff Nichols was already running down court.
The last foul, by the way, on UMBC was on Jordan Grant. That's his 3rd. Retrievers have committed 4.
And one of the other good things about having depth is you're not often going to get in foul trouble. That was a bad pass.
Saw that coming a mile away as Myers basically cut towards the basketball and Grant waited for it.
Myers wasn't out of the game for very long, was he? First whistle, he was back in.
Yep, can't afford that.
He's got to play. He for Maine reminds me, I'm going to tell, this is my day for Valvano stories. When Sidney Lowe late in the game came over and said to him, Coach, I need a break. And Valvano said, you'll get one, Sidney, as soon as your eligibility's used up. Myers isn't going to get too many breaks the rest of this season.
God, we can do a whole broadcast on Jim Valvano.
Oh, easily. And we could go on. We could do a doubleheader.
Three-pointer rolls off from Ashley, or three-pointer straight away from Lamar.
Yeah,
Paul was just talking about that.
That was a defended three with about 22 seconds on the shot clock.
Inside, charging is the call on Myers.
Let's see. This is one. I think this might be the first charge of the game, and I think it was a block. To be honest,
Grant was moving.
Looked like Grant was moving left.
Retrievers get a break there. First on Myers, second on the team.
And am I mistaken? I think that's the first charge we've seen all day.
I think you're right. Less than 10 minutes to go in the game. Retrievers by 15. UMBC could go 2-0 in the conference if they hold on here. Maine would fall to 0-2. And again, Retrievers with two big road games at Hartford, at Vermont. KJ Mara with the three.
Had a tremendous game. Scoring, passing, running the offense, playing good defense. Couple steals. He has not, however, brought us a pizza.
No.
We need to talk to him about that before the Albany game a week from tomorrow.
In fact, I think we want a pizza for the Albany game.
I think we do.
It's a 1 o'clock start. We'll be hungry.
I'm always hungry. That's my problem.
Jarris Lyles, by the way, and we're going to bring up your double-double theory right now. 15 and 10. He's got 10 rebounds in the game.
And again, I'm not saying it's not impressive, but people talk about a double-double like it's a triple-double. Triple-double is hard because you got to pass, you got to rebound, and you got to score. Now, Jarris Lyles is an exception in that I will bet you he'll never have 10 assists in a game because he's not a passing guard. He's a shooting guard. And he's a great rebounder. So when he goes for 15 and 10, there's Sherburne fouling, sort of. I thought he had his hands up in the air pretty effectively. And again, so normally if a guard gets 10 assists, that's a good game. It's not spectacular, it's a good game. If an inside guy gets 10 rebounds, that's a good game. Jarris Lyles will get double-doubles with rebounds. So I don't mind the double-double stat, except that people make it out now like it's Oscar Robertson, which it's not. And whenever I watch a game on TV, somebody will say, well, this guy had 6 straight double-doubles. Well, if you had 6 straight triple-doubles, then I want to hear about it. So go ahead and say Jarris Lyles has a double-double.
He does. He's got 15 and 10. But, you bring up Oscar Robertson, and a lot of new basketball fans may not even realize who Oscar Robertson was.
God.
But he
so
averaged a triple-double
for an entire
a year.
season.
Ridiculous.
You can't do that. You just can't do that.
He was the Michael Jordan of basketball way before Michael Jordan.
Yes, he was.
Lamar inside showing that toughness and some touch.
And again, that's why Ryan Odom likes Lamar, because he can make a play like that and he can hit a three.
Myers for three. And what was that, John? 24, 25?
At least. I think he might have been out of bounds.
Retrievers by 15. Myers now with 19. Lamar with 4 off the bench.
Tim Myers is a transfer from Niagara, but he's got 2 years of eligibility left after this season. He's a sophomore.
This ball movement by UMBC.
Done a nice job with it all day against the zone.
KJ trying to break it down. Sherburne, open man. Nope. It's Elliott. Corner. 3. KJ keeps it alive. How about that?
That's why he's so effective, because he finds ways to make plays.
Boy, they will shoot, I'll tell you. They may not make them all the time, but this team is exciting. 7:34 left to go in this one. The Retrievers lead it by 15. And how about Arkel Lamar for UMBC? Welcome back here to the rack. Nolan Garrity with a perfect performance, 8 of 8 from the field, John, including 10 points in the second half.
Yeah, and again, they went right to him at the start of the second half. We talked at halftime about the fact that Ryan Odom almost certainly would want to see the ball go inside more, and there's Garrity again running the floor as he does so well. And they went inside to Garrity. He's perfect, as you said, from the field. And going inside, not taking a three the first 6 minutes, I think played a big role in UMBC blowing this game open.
Now we know that Joe Sherburne from his halftime interview was roommates with Nolan Garrity on the road. I wish they would have asked Joe about Nolan's mustache, because somebody has to. It's
Well,
all
the way
good.
he's playing, he's not changing anything anytime soon. I promise you that.
I don't think anybody wants him to, and there's a good look at Joe Sherburne. Only 5 points today, but 6 rebounds, 3 assists, and you talked about his unselfishness.
Yeah, and he's always looking almost pass first, which a guy who shoots the ball that well probably shouldn't do. By the way, 8 for 8 for many years was the all-time consecutive shots made record at the University of Maryland. Do you know who held that record?
8 for 8 was Len Bias. No idea.
Not Len Bias. How about Gary Williams?
Oh,
That's a pretty good trivia question, huh?
that is an excellent trivia question.
Gary brought that up once or twice.
He did.
Yeah, once or twice it came up.
Interesting.
Especially after I beat him in a shooting contest once.
How is that even possible?
It's impossible. I should have been drug tested probably.
I saved by Mara. Sherburne straight away. Oh my God, newsflash, he missed. Perovich with the rebound for Maine.
He stopped the game.
He's 1 for 2 now from downtown, is Joe.
Again, I think in the grand scheme of things, especially with this tough road trip coming up, Ryan Odom's going to want to see him shoot the basketball more than they haven't needed it today. They're going to need it as the season goes on. Nice pass there. Good cut. Somebody got their head to it.
Inside for 2, Danny Evans with the basket for the Black Bears, and they've cut it to 11, still with 6:20 left, and here's pressure now from Maine.
Give them a lot of credit because it'd be easy just to fold up and get ready for the trip home.
That is probably not the shot that Ryan Odom wanted
Nope,
there.
not at all.
And Wes Myers pulls it down.
Not that early in the shot clock, that's for sure.
Myers high scorer for the game now with 21 for Maine, 7 field goals. Cross court, here's Myers, going to take on Mara.
That was a mismatch there. Mora trying to guard Myers one-on-one, giving away only about 8 inches. See Mora trying hard, but he bumps him, and then he hit him on the wrist going up. So take the choice.
Wes Myers will be at the line, good free throw shooter, coming in 81%.
6 for 6 today.
Myers had 30 against Vermont, and that wasn't even his career high. He had 31 last year. And a free throw by Wes Myers is good. A native of Brooklyn, New York, a transfer, as you said, from Niagara. He really is the best offensive option that Bob Walsh has left now on this team.
By quite a lot. Easy's a good, effective player inside, but it's tough for him because he's got no help in the long post.
Brent, Elliott, and Grant sit down.
And Perovich back, though, has helped them a little bit. At both ends of the floor, they played better defense the last few minutes. Have the lead in single digits. It was 17. 13-4 run.
Laura for UMBC can't finish with the reverse. Rebound for Easy. And again, this is only a 9-point game right now with 5:40 left.
Ryan Odom, if they score here, Ryan Odom may need a timeout.
And it's in the hands of their scorer.
Big guy out of
Myers going to take Darley to the hole. Myers pull up. Myers!
That's why
and now
he's
it's
so
down to
tough.
7.
Gave it up and got it back. And I would think Ryan Odom would want a timeout here.
We got a basketball game at 62-55 UMBC, and that's what we have. A timeout called by Ryan Odom, and he's going to talk to his retrievers and got to kind of settle them down. Wes Myers has been the big story with 25 points for Maine.
Well, we knew Wes Myers was going to have to come up with a big game for Maine to have any chance to stay in this game. See there, an 11-0 run now by the Black Bears to cut this lead down. I don't think Ryan Odom wants to settle his team down so much as rev them back up. I think they kind of went to sleep a little bit on the game when they were up 57-40, and then all of a sudden you look up and you've taken a couple of quick shots, you've given up a couple easy shots, and boom, it's a 7-point game with loads of time left to go.
They're on an 11-0 run in the last 3:03 of the game. A lot of that courtesy of Wes Myers. He had 30 against Vermont. He's followed up with 25 this afternoon.
What's impressive, Gary, is it's not volume scoring. 8 for 14. He's shooting well over 50%. A lot of guys will put up 20, 22, and then you look at their line and they're 6 for 20.
See what the retrievers' response here is coming up on the 5-minute mark. Ball movement.
That's a good
Sherber.
shot.
It sure is.
That's a good shot. That's what coaches do in timeouts. They say, fellas, let's get the ball in the hands of somebody who's a good shooter. Hey, 13, you're a pretty good shooter. Let's see if we can get you a shot.
It really isn't rocket science, is it?
It seems like it sometimes for some teams, but not well-coached teams.
Easy, short. Mora, rebound. Lyles runs. Lyles scores.
And that's just what Ryan Odom wants. You can get out in transition, get out in transition.
17 for Jarris. Oh, to go with those 10 rebounds, by the way.
Is that a double-double?
You know what? I've heard that.
I've heard it too. Out of your mouth.
Triple team easy. Perovich, air ball. Retrievers have some momentum.
Yeah, that was a 10-footer shot from 8 feet.
Again, good ball movement here for the Retrievers.
Garrity was wide open. He missed him.
Look at this. Darling
but he made up for it.
Oh!
Lyles smiling because he knows he missed Garrity, but he found Darley, and now it's time for Bob Walsh to take a timeout.
KJ now with, wait for it, a double-double.
I'm so impressed.
13 points, 10 assists. None prettier than this one. Retrievers by 14 with less than 4 minutes to go in this one. And now it's time for today's play of the game presented by the hotels at BWI. And what do you think, John?
I think KJ Moore is involved. That's what I think. Nice move by Lyles in transition there.
KJ with 10 assists and Jarris Lyles with 17 points. The play of the game presented by the hotels at BWI. Log on to UMBCHotels.com. These fine hotels have created special overnight rates exclusive to UMBC athletic supporters, fans, and alumni. And all those people we just mentioned, supporters, fans, and alumni, are getting behind this team this year.
Well, they should be, because this team has been impressive. They're well on their way to being 11-4. And 2-0 in the conference. And, you know, when Ryan Odom called that timeout at 62:55, and it was the exact right timing, and they did exactly what he told them to. They got a good shot from Sherburne. They pushed the ball in transition, and boom, like that, the lead's back to 14.
Maine with the basketball. It's Myers underneath. Easy trying to keep it alive. Garrity a big rebound. Lyles again. And that'll be offensive.
That's a good call by Jeff Nichols. Good defense there, too.
Ryan Bernstein on the defense for Maine. Let's watch it.
New York kids can take a charge. He's well outside the circle. Good play by Ryan Bernstein. When you get squared up, get your hands down, you're more often than not, you're going to get the call.
Retrievers by 14. UMBC leads the conference with just under 83 per game. Points scored.
UMBC going to zone here, trying to make them work some clock, which is been a smart play.
10 to shoot now.
And when you haven't seen a zone most of the day and the team switches to it, it takes a while to get used to it.
But not for Wes Myers.
No. He might have traveled there just before he dribbled, but didn't get that call and made the shot. He's a good player.
He's followed up that 30 with a 28 spot this afternoon.
Bob Walsh told me they're adding a kid named Isaiah White who plays right over here at Hartford Community College next year. He's a scorer, a wing scorer. You put the Myers and him together, that might be something to watch. Plus getting their players back healthy.
Darley now with 11 for UMBC. Myers again with Mora on him. On 10 to shoot for Wes Myers. Now he's drawing Sherburne.
And again, if nothing else, this zone has forced Maine to use a lot more time than they want to.
They're down to 3. Bernstein's got to get rid of it at the buzzer from about 28 feet. Garrity the rebound, and he runs the floor.
When you're down 13, you don't want to be close to a shot clock violation with under 3 minutes to go. And again, that's where the UMBC zone has done very well these last couple of possessions. Nice pass.
Beautiful. Inside for Garrity. Garrity 9 for 9, 18 points. And that is a new career high for Nolan Garrity.
And his shooting percentage is very high, right?
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's I'd say it's almost perfect, actually. Garrity another rebound.
besting Gary Williams.
That's right. Retrievers will bring in some subs in a moment. Ben Grace and Sam Schweitz will check to the scorer's table with 1:30 left in this one.
See if Ryan calls a timeout if they score to get them into this game.
Lyles off the back iron. Retrievers by 15. Over Lyles is Perovich.
Boy, it sure would have helped him to have Perovich for this whole game, wouldn't it?
Yeah, he had back spasms in the pregame warm-up, didn't come in till halfway through the first half, and then left again. Nolan Garrity, there it is. Those are some pretty hot numbers there. 9 of 9 from the field.
If only he could get 3 more rebounds and have a double-double. Then you might be impressed.
I think you and I are going to have this for a while. Nolan, though, has really started to assert himself. A sophomore out of Cleveland, Ohio. Missed 11 games at the start of last season and had a little bit of, a challenge kind of getting into the year. But this year he's been healthy. He's slimmed down a bit as well, and he's really running the floor nicely.
He's running the floor really well, and he's really good without the basketball. He's good at getting post-up position. You saw the cut on the last basket, pretty pass that set up the basket. But he's really shown that he can play a post-up game, and that gives the Retrievers another element in their offense because they can shoot facing the basket, but to have a guy they can go to down low like Garrity is a huge bonus.
Retrievers, if they hold on here, will go to 2-0 in the conference, and then let's look at that, a really difficult early conference schedule coming up.
Yeah, no doubt, to go to Hartford, where, as you said, they haven't played well. They haven't beaten Vermont in 9 seasons, so that's going to be a tough week. And then they play at Vermont on Friday night and come back here for a Monday afternoon game on Martin Luther King Day.
And we'll have the call against Albany at 1 o'clock right here on ESPN3 for that one. But right now, the Retrievers are intent on closing this one down, and they do empty the bench here. Ben Grace, Ishmael Jabi, Sam Schweitz, and Max Curran have all checked in for UMBC, along with KJ Mara.
Several guys who we don't often see on the floor.
Ben Grace, who's inbounding right here, is a walk-on senior out of Gilman School.
Yeah. He's the only senior on this team other than Darwin. Maine not giving up without the fight. Pressing there on the inbounds pass, and they force a turnover.
So it'll be Maine basketball with 1:10 left. Hey, look, stranger things have happened, especially when you got a hot hand like Wes Myers. And it's in the hands of Myers right now. He'll pop.
If that had gone in, Ryan Odom might have gone back to the bench for the starters.
That's Curran with a big rebound for UMBC. Grace now being hounded by Perovich.
That was a block. Good call. Perovich doesn't like it, but he's biased.
And Mara will go to the line with 13 points and 11 assists.
Actually, that's only their 3rd team foul.
Oh, so they're on the floor. Yep.
Yeah. If Maine does nothing else well, they don't foul very much.
They haven't all game.
Of course, playing zone will be
Maine has
factor in that.
Maine's picked up only 7 fouls in this game. Schweitz can't finish.
That's a frustrating moment for a youngster who doesn't see the floor that much.
Here's Bernstein for 3. Myers trying to keep it alive.
That's a first down, I think. If the Ravens had tackled that well in the Cincinnati game, they might have done a little better.
Yeah. If they tackled better at the goal line, they might be in the playoffs. 35
Too
seconds.
Easy. Yeah, well, good point, Gary. They hadn't given up 21 points in the 4th quarter against the Steelers.
That is true.
Ifs and buts.
Got to close it out. Now, coming in for Maine is Austin Howard, as they brought in some guys.
Now, Bob Walsh getting Perovich off the floor. No point in pushing that back.
Yeah, he's still walking very gingerly.
Yeah.
It's really amazing he's played as much as he has today.
It's going to be a tough plane ride home for a guy 6'7" with back problems, stretching himself out on the bench there now.
Gave him 20 minutes tonight, 11 points off the bench.
Gutsy performance, actually.
Retrievers will hold on here. Curran inside from Grace, nicely played.
Grace gets in the box score with a nice assist there.
Retrievers Rutgers by 14. They beat Binghamton by 14, so it's a couple of double-digit wins for UMBC, now by 11. To open up the America East Conference season, it's the first 2-0 conference start for UMBC since the championship year. We've used that a lot this year, John, since the championship year.
Well, it's been a long dry spell since the championship year, and obviously Ryan Odom, we talk constantly about the new culture, and he's done a nice job with it, and that's why they're now 11-4, 2-0, and looking better with each game, Gary, which is the most important thing because the schedule gets tougher right now.
Gaining confidence, no doubt about it. Couple of great individual performances, but none better really than Nolan Garrity, 18 points, 9 of 9 from the field.
You can't be better than 9 of 9. And they were all good shots, either good post-ups or nice passes. Did a good job on the defensive end of the floor. And really, I think Ryan Odom did a terrific job at halftime saying, okay, fellas, I know we're up 10, but we can play better than this. Don't be satisfied. And the first 6 minutes when they didn't shoot a 3 and got it inside to Nolan Garrity broke open the game.
Nolan Garrity leads 4 players in double figures this afternoon as the Retrievers beat the Black Bears by 11. Back for the postgame right after this.